guys, this is Good Deeds, and I'm Dr. Renee Sunday. Guess what? We're all the way in Dallas, Texas. Yes, Dallas, Texas. We're hanging out with the Minnie's Food Pantry. They've been in existence for 10 years. The thing is the power of one. If you can't feed many, guess what? You can just feed one. We want you to sit back and relax and share this information with somebody else. Because the thing about it is, one thing we should be able to do is help somebody when they need something. Not doing it because, we want them to feel bad, but we want to show them that we love them and truly love them. But sit back and relax. This is Good Deeds, and I'm Dr. Renee Sunday.
I have always had the prayer of use me. How can I be used? So that prayer has carried me throughout my life. The reason I am born, raised in Mississippi, which was an apartheid state. Hello, Mississippi. I see you got out too. We all just happy we got out. But my prayer, since I was a little girl, and my concept of God was, the man with the white beard, was use me. My prayer. And because one of the reasons I have grown to be who I am in the world is because my grandmother went to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, prayer, service, choir practice, Friday night, Saturday, BTU training, the whole thing. We lived in the church, okay? And I happened to believe, I just believed, because I didn't have any television, and there was obviously no internet, social media, and all that stuff, but actually no connection to anybody. Raised on a farm in Mississippi, no running water, no electricity, which makes it so great when you have 6 bathrooms. It's wonderful when you grow up. Now you have running water and lots of bathrooms. It's wonderful. But I actually believed when I sat in front of the church every Sunday and they would preach that you are God's child. I actually believed that. So much so that when I left Mississippi, got out, and first went to kindergarten and walked into kindergarten, there are all these little white kids doing their ABCs. I was like, this ain't happening. I wrote my kindergarten teacher, Miss New, a letter when I was in Milwaukee. Thank you. Got out. Teacher Miss New a letter and said, "Dear Miss New, I do not belong here because I know a lot of words." And I wrote on the piece of paper, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Jeremiah, Nehemiah, and Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, and elephant and hippopotamus, just in case. And so I got taken to the principal's office and they were like, who did this, and I did. And I started telling everybody that God was my father and that meant Jesus was my brother. So the reason I am here today is because Jesus is my brother. I grew up believing that. And because Jesus is my brother, he has taught me, you don't have to be free. I've been free a long time. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. So when people ask you to do things you don't want to do, you tell them no. And I say no and I mean no. Except if it's Cheryl. And she don't even know that Jesus is my brother. And Jesus told me the first 8 years to say no. And the reason he told me to say no is because I know that it's easy to call the person that you think has the money and that can give you the help and that can give you the handout. But what is important and what I've come to understand after interviewing over 37,584 people personally, only the people, not the people who just have the dream, but the people who know how to execute the dream. You can't help somebody that just has a dream. A lot of people are dreaming. It's the people that know how to execute the dream and know how to sustain the dream. So for the first 8 times, I said no. Why? Because I'm waiting to see what you're going to do. I'm waiting to see whether or not the organization that you're creating has the ability to sustain itself. I'm willing to see how many times you can be told no and still keep getting up, because this is what I understand. A lot of people talk about power and they're powerless and all that, but real power comes from building strength. And you don't get strong unless you're told no enough times to develop the strength. Strength is like a muscle. And what I know is that strength times strength, times strength, times strength, times strength, times strength equals power. And so, when you have acquired the power of one, you've been told no enough times, you've been told it's impossible enough times, you've been told you can't enough times, but you still say, I will find a way. That's somebody worth lifting up. That is why I chose to be here tonight and said yes to Cheryl Action Jackson. No easy thing to start out as one and then build yourself to 16,000 volunteers. It is no easy thing. All the volunteers in this room, stand up right now. All the volunteers in this room. All the volunteers representing all the other volunteers who did not be here tonight. No easy thing to get people to not only see your vision, but be willing to join and help you execute the vision. So I stand here because I want to be here tonight. I paid for myself. I paid for my gas. I paid for my hotel. I paid for the room. I paid to be in the room, to be with you tonight, to support Cheryl, and to support not just Minnie's Pantry, but what it means to create a Minnie's Pantry. And to say to you that there's a Minnie's Pantry in your own life. There's a dream that you have in your own life that is yet to be fulfilled, that requires the kind of determination, the kind of perseverance, the kind of will and strength times strength times strength, which equals the power of one to get it done. How many of the people in this room have ever been hungry? Anybody in here has ever actually been hungry? Raise your hands high, proud. Yes, I was hungry. Well, you know, I happen to live, thank you for that. I happen to live, this is the reason why it's so hard to get me out. I live in a place so beautiful that every time I pass my front door, I have this mantra. I sing a little, Jesus loves me, this I know. Every single time I pass my door, I sing, Jesus loves me, this I know. Because I live in a place so amazingly beautiful that I know Jesus lives there too. And even though I paid for it, and I paid a lot of money for it, every day I think of it as a gift. And I never even want to leave it because I think of it as a gift. So it takes a lot to get me to leave the place where Jesus lives. So I'm sitting and you know what I'm talking about? It's beautiful, it's nice. I call it the promised land for nothing. I call it the promised land because it feels like that. I've been that blessed in my life. And I was sitting there this past Easter with a group of my girls from South Africa. Gala have a school in South Africa. And the great gift for me has been the great reward. I thought I was doing something for Nelson Mandela when I stayed at his house for 10 days, and you can't give him a candle at the end of it. When you give Nelson, you can't say, well, there's some flowers. So I built this school in his honor, as we were talking about what do you do to change South Africa. I built this school. And I thought I was doing something for South Africa, and I thought I was doing something for women of the world, because I was built this school because I was going to create these women leaders that would be able to change the country and these African leaders. But this is the thing about giving. When you give, the reward is, when you give from the center of yourself, from the pure heart of, I just want to do what is right, what comes back to you is unimaginable. It's just unimaginable. The reward, the Bible says tenfold. It's not even, it's like you can't even imagine. It just fills you up in ways you can't imagine. So this past Easter, I'm sitting around the table with some of my girls from South Africa, 22 of them in the United States, going to different colleges. And I asked, they knew I was coming here, so I asked the question as we're sitting at the table, we're like, pass the truffle salt, please. Shall we have more pasta, do you think? Ask someone to bring us some tea. Because we're sitting at the table with these girls who have come from villages of nothing. Literally, I found them in townships and villages with nothing. I asked the question, does anybody here remember being hungry? And Tondo, who grew up living in a little closet with her grandmother, mother died of AIDS, with her grandmother, who was a domestic worker her entire life and came to my school when she was 12 years old, started to talk about, she says, yes, Mama, I remember what it feels like to be hungry. She answered so eloquently, I wanted to share it with you. So we're sitting around my kitchen table, the promised land. And she says, being hungry felt like the sensation of my stomach pushing into my back. Sometimes I was so hungry my head was ringing into a headache until that ringing sound faded into the soundtrack of my day. There were times when I was so hungry that the inside of my body felt hollow, and I knew it was carrying my heart and a soul, but I knew that my heart and my soul couldn't feed me. My stomach was growling and ached and then seemed to stop, but only for a while, because it knew its cries could not be answered, she said. Someone else said I was so hungry that I forced my mind to forget what food would look like or smell like just to ease my hunger. So many times I tried to pretend like it didn't matter. So my mother, my auntie, my grandmother could not feel the shame because I knew they couldn't provide for me, but they would if they could. So you learn to sit in your hunger and you be with your hunger until it becomes a fleeting thought. And then someone said, you know how you teach us about meditation? I learned to treat my hunger like it was a meditation. And so we all sat at the table in the promised land, thinking about the gratitude that we had in our hearts for never being hungry. And I shared with them, I said, well, you know, I can't be as eloquent as you have been, but I remember being hungry, growing up with my mother on welfare in Milwaukee, got out. And I remember the morning we had cornflakes, but no milk in the house, and only grape Kool-Aid. And I poured the grape Kool-Aid over the cornflakes. It gets soggy really quick. And all day being hungry because my mother wasn't home, and having to take care of my half-brother and sister, and nothing to feed them. And so I went to Miss Thomas's house, Miss Thomas, who lived downstairs. And I said, Miss Thomas, me, Pat, and Jeffrey are hungry. Can we have something to eat? And Miss Thomas made peanut butter sandwiches for us. My mother came home and she found out, and she gave me a whipping. She said, how dare you put our business in the street? How dare you go down there asking for food, acting like you're hungry? I said, but Mama, I was hungry. She said, you're not hungry. We have enough food in this house. So, when somebody tells you something you know is not true, you know it's not true. I think I'm still hungry. Now I'm just ashamed of being hungry. Now I know that it's not okay to be hungry. It's something I'm supposed to not let anybody else know. And that if I let somebody else know, then it means I put our business in the street. And this is what I love Cheryl Jackson for. She understood that nobody should be humiliated because of her. You shouldn't have to feel ashamed to say, you know, I just can't make enough to get food on the table this week. So she knew that when she started feeding people in honor of her mother, and she knew that to put them on a red carpet and to put people in the room that understood that everybody who has been pulled up by their bootstraps had somebody to help them with the straps. She understood that. And understood that something I just realized so profoundly recently when I did a piece for 60 Minutes, it's not about what's wrong with you that you don't have enough food on the table. It's not about what's wrong with you that you can't keep your job. It's not about what's wrong with you. It's about what happened to you. And so that everybody at Minnie's operates from the point of view of, we know something happened. Because we know that anybody who's raising a family and trying to do the best they can in the world wants the most basic need of every human being, and that is to have food on the table. So we realize when you come into Minnie's that something happened. And you don't even have to tell us what happened. Because the fact that you had the courage to reach out for help, to put food on your table, to take care of your family, means that you also deserve the dignity of being served by people who understand what that means. She started as one. I think it's just amazing that you can start with 2 cans of corn and move to 80,000 meals a month. That is living in the stream of consciousness. That is living in God's flow. That is living God's dream for you in such a way that you attract all the people in this room. Because when I called Cheryl, I had no intention of saying yes. I just got DM'd so many times. It was aggravating me. And I was just going to try. So the time I called and her mother had died and I gave the $100,000, I was like, okay, I'm really sorry that your mother died. And then after that, because I was hearing this story, I said, did I give 100,000 or did I give 250? The second time was 250. Yeah, I gave 250 because I thought that would relieve me of DMs. just gonna say, Cheryl, you gotta stop G and then really. And then I got on the phone, and then I heard myself saying, okay, I'm gonna give you $250,000. And then she kept talking. I go, did you hear me? I said, I'm going to give you. Then she started screaming, and then she said, but will you come? I go, so the $250 that wasn't? Sure. I think I actually said to you, sure, I just gave you $250,000 in 4 minutes. That's not gonna do it. She goes, no, girl, no, girl. I guess I'm coming to Texas. So I came to Texas because I wanted to raise some money. I had to spend money to get here, just like a lot of y'all did. And I donated $250,000. I'm going to donate another $250,000. And I want another $250,000 from this room. And before you decide who you're going to be, you're not the whole room, not one person has to do it. Okay? Before you decide, let me just tell you about paying it forward. This is the thing. This is the one rule that I live by. You all know The Color Purple, where she says, everything you try to do to me, already done to you. That is law. That's not just whoopee. That is law. The law says that whatever you put out into the world, with the energy of your intention, is going to come back to you. And every pastor in this room can back me up on this. Pastor John Gray, Avatar, you can. Victoria, you can. Pastor Osteen, you can. Mark Barnett, Roma, y'all did the whole series on Jesus. Y'all know Jesus knows this is right. Y'all know Jesus understood this law. That what you're putting out into the world is going to come back. And it's not just going to come back, it's going to come back with the intention in which you give it. That's why I don't do anything unless it's intentional. So I don't give any money with some kind of attitude about it. I give the money from the purest, strongest, most Jesus-centered place on my heart, because I know that's going to come back to me. So those of you who tonight, we need another $250,000 in this room. I know you got it. You know you got it. You know. Rob Wexler, he's here. All right, who's going to start me off? I just need $250. I'm going to give $250. Okay, who's going to start me off? No, this is what I want you to do. I want you to come up here. I want you to announce your name. We want to see who you are. We just need $2. I didn't come down here to be cute. We came down here so that Cheryl don't have to be begging us next year. We're going to have the money. Come on, walk right up. Now, I want you to walk right up here. Name, I want your name and what your number is.
K, 10,000.
K, 10,000. All right, and how much you give it?
3,000.
3,000. In it. All right, I know y'all already given so much. Y'all got GM
for 10 years.
Amy Witherite, Barbara Witherite and I are giving $25,000.
So let's give you, hold the music.
All right.
You're gonna dance. You're gonna dance.
I'm gonna dance.
You're gonna dance in a
What's the
second.
number? What's the number?
What was the number? Sure, you came in, you're like, we're gonna do good tonight.
We wanted
But
to do
nobody
good.
understood this blessing.
Yeah.
Tonight on the stage, $1.3 million. Thank you, Oprah Winfrey, guys. Oprah Winfrey.
Hi, you guys. This is Good Deeds, and I'm Dr. Renee Sunday. I know you enjoyed this. You know I love Oprah Winfrey, and I know you do as well. And all of the amazing things that we brought just for you, you, and you. Please check out Minnie's Food Pantry. Support them. Volunteer. Whatever you can do. The thing about it is you can do that in your local community as well. Help somebody else to move forward in life. You know how to get in contact with us. But you know what? The thing is, we want to let you know that you do have a calling. You do have a reason you were born. You're not a mistake. You got to do the three things. You got to believe, you got to trust, and you got to walk it out. This is Good Deeds, and I'm Dr. Renee Sunday. See you next time. Bye-bye.